The transport ship shook as it entered the docking bay, and Priya Sharma pressed her face against the cold window to see her new home. Station Helix 7 was bigger than any city she had ever seen. Lights blinked from thousands of windows. Ships moved like insects around the massive structure. Somewhere inside was the Galactic Unity Academy, where young beings from across the stars came to learn together. Priya was 19 years old. She came from Mumbai, India, a city of 20 million people where she had grown up helping her mother sell food on crowded streets. She had survived monsoon floods that drowned entire neighborhoods. She had lived through an earthquake that brought down her building when she was 12. She still had the scar on her shoulder from the rubble. Now she was one of 3 humans at the most famous academy in the galaxy. The docking bay was cold by human standards, but Priya did not complain. She had slept on rooftops during winter nights back home. This was nothing but a small creature with golden fur and large ears approached her. It walked on 2 legs and wore the same student uniform as Priya. "You are the human?" the creature asked. Its voice was soft and high. "I am Priya. I am Miri. We are roommates." The creature, a Finari, looked up at Priya with nervous eyes. "You are very tall." Priya smiled. "I am short for a human." Miri's ears flattened. "That is frightening." They walked together through the station. Priya noticed how other students looked at her, some with curiosity, some with disgust. Most simply moved away, giving her space as if she carried disease. "They do not like humans," Priya asked quietly. "They do not know humans," Miri said. "Your species is new. Only 5 years since first contact. Many think you are too primitive to be here." Priya said nothing. She had heard worse things on the streets of Mumbai. Their room was small but clean. 2 beds, 2 desks, 1 window looking out at the stars. Miri took the bed near the door. Priya took the one near the window. "There is something you must know," Miri said as Priya unpacked her few belongings. "About the academy. Tell me, there is a student named Lord Calris. He is Sylvan. His father is a powerful diplomat." Miri's voice dropped to a whisper. "He hurt people, students from smaller species, weaker species. The teachers do nothing because of his family." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you are new. Because you are human." Miri looked at the floor. "Because he will notice you." Priya folded her clothes carefully. Her mother had packed them with love, adding small bags of spices between the fabric so they would smell like home. "I will be careful," she said. The dining hall was enormous. Hundreds of students sat at long tables, eating foods that Priya could not name. The smells were strange, some pleasant and some terrible. She found a quiet corner and sat alone with her tray. The food was bland, but safe for human digestion. She ate slowly, watching the room. That was when she saw him. Lord Calris was tall, even for a Sylvan. His species had 4 arms, skin covered in shimmering scales, and eyes that reflected light like mirrors. He moved through the dining hall like he owned it, and perhaps he did. Other students stepped aside. Some bowed their heads. His group followed behind him. For other Sylvan, all wearing expensive clothes and cruel smiles. Calris stopped at a table where 2 Finari students were eating. He said something Priya could not hear. The Finari grabbed their trays and ran. Calris laughed. His followers laughed with him. Then his eyes found Priya. She did not look away. In Mumbai, looking away from dangerous people was an invitation. You met their eyes. You showed you were not afraid, even when you were. Calris smiled. It was not a friendly smile. He walked toward her table, his 4 arms swinging at his sides. His followers spread out behind him, blocking any escape. "You are the human," he said. His voice was smooth and cold. "I am from the Deathworld." He made the word sound like an insult. "A planet where everything kills. The gravity crushes. The weather destroys. Even your plants are poison." "Earth is my home," Priya said simply. Calris leaned down. His face was close to hers. She could smell something sweet on his breath, like rotting fruit. "I have never met a human before," he said. "You look soft, fragile. No clothes, no scars, no natural weapons at all." Priya said nothing. "I think," Calris continued, "that you and I will become very good friends." His followers laughed. Priya looked into his mirror eyes and saw her own reflection. A small human girl, alone in a galaxy that did not want her. But she had survived earthquakes. She had survived floods. She had survived a city that chewed up the weak and spit them out. She could survive this. I look forward to it, she said calmly. Calris blinked. He had expected fear. He had expected tears. This quiet acceptance confused him. He straightened up and walked away, his followers trailing behind. Miri appeared at Priya's table moments later, trembling. Are you insane? The Fenari whispered. Do you know what he does to people? Priya picked up her fork and continued eating. I know exactly what he is, she said. I grew up surrounded by men like him. Outside the window, stars burned in the darkness of space. Somewhere among them, Earth turned slowly, waiting for its daughter to come home, but not yet. Priya had work to do first. 3 weeks passed, and Priya learned to become invisible. She sat in the back of classrooms. She ate at odd hours when the dining hall was empty. She walked through hallways with her head down, making herself small and forgettable. IT did not work. Calris found her in the library on a quiet afternoon. She was studying galactic history, struggling with the alien text, when a shadow fell across her table. The human reads, Calris said with mock surprise. I thought your species learned through pictures and simple sounds. His followers laughed. There were 3 of them today, all Sylvan, all wearing the same cruel smiles. Priya did not look up. I'm studying. Then let me help you. Calris picked up her notebook and tore it in half. Pages scattered across the floor like wounded birds. There, he said. Now you can start again. Practice makes perfect, yes. He walked away laughing. Priya gathered her torn notes and began rewriting them that same night. The harassment continued. Small things at first. Her food tray knocked from her hands. Her seat taken in every classroom. Whispers that followed her through corridors. Then bigger things. She found her uniform soaked in cleaning fluid one morning. The chemical burned her skin and left red marks on her arms. The station doctor, a kind Kelpin with 8 tentacles, treated her burns and asked what happened. I was careless, Priya said. The doctor did not believe her, but Priya refused to say more. Miri watched her roommate with growing worry. Every night, Priya came back to their room, tired and hurt. Every morning, she woke up and went out again. Why do you not report him? Miri asked one night. Because his father would make it worse. Priya wrapped a bandage around her arm, where Calris had grabbed her earlier that day. I have seen this before. Rich boys with powerful families. They do not face consequences. They never do. But you cannot just let him hurt you. Priya smiled sadly. I'm not letting him do anything. I am waiting. For what? For him to make a real mistake. What Miri did not see were the small things that proved Priya was different from other victims that in engineering class. A heavy piece of equipment fell from a shelf. 3 Fenari students screamed and ran. Priya simply reached up and caught it with one hand. The teacher stared at her for a long moment before continuing the lesson. In the dining hall, a Sylvan student tried Priya's food as a joke. He wanted to prove that human food was disgusting. The spice Priya had added, a simple red pepper from Earth, sent him to the medical bay for 2 days. What was mild for humans was poison for most galactic species. In the gym, Priya ran on the exercise machines set to Earth gravity. Other students watched in horror as she jogged easily under pressure that would crush their bones. Your planet, Miri said one evening, reading from her tablet with wide eyes. The information says Earth has earthquakes that destroy cities, storms that flatten buildings, animals that hunt and kill humans for food. Yes, and you survive this. We do more than survive. Priya looked out the window at the stars. We build cities in earthquake zones. We sail ships into hurricanes. We climb mountains that have no air at the top, just to see the view. Miri put down her tablet. Humans are insane. Perhaps. Priya smiled. But we are still here. An old maintenance worker named Goss found Priya one night in a corridor. She was sitting on the floor, holding her ribs where Calris had kicked her earlier. Goss was a Kelpin, ancient and slow, his 8 tentacles gray with age. He had worked at the academy for 40 years and had seen everything. The Sylvan boy, he said, lowering himself down beside her. I am fine. You're not fine. You are hurt. Goss reached into his maintenance cart and pulled out a medical kit. Hold still. He treated her injuries with gentle care. Priya let him, too tired to argue. You could report him, Goss said. It would not help. No, it would not. Goss finished wrapping her ribs. But there are other ways. What do you mean? The old Kelpin looked at her with wise eyes. I've seen students like him come and go. They think they are untouchable. They think their families will protect them forever. But everyone makes mistakes eventually. And when he makes his mistake, then you must be ready. Goss stood slowly, his joints cracking. I will be watching, human. If you need a witness, I will be there. Priya thanked him and returned to her room. The Unity Festival was approaching, a celebration of cooperation between species. All students had to participate. Calris was planning something. Priya could see it in the way he looked at her, in the whispers between his followers, in the anticipation that crackled around them like electricity. He was going to humiliate her publicly. She was certain of it. You should skip the festival, Miri said the night before. Stay in the room. Be sick. No. Priya was preparing ingredients she had brought from Earth. Spices her mother had packed. Rice and lentils she had found in the station market. I'm going to cook for the festival. Traditional food from my home. But Calris will let him try. Priya looked at her friend with calm eyes. I am done being invisible, Miri. I am done being small. Miri's ears flattened with fear. What are you going to do? Priya smiled, and there was something ancient in her expression. Something that had survived ice ages and predators in a world that tried to kill humans every single day. I'm going to show them what a Deathworlder really is. The smell of spices filled the small kitchen, and for a moment, Priya was home again. She had been cooking for 3 days. The Unity Festival was tomorrow, and her station needed to be perfect. She had found substitutes for ingredients that did not exist on the station. She had tested recipes on Miri, who cried for the mild spices but asked for more. It burns, Miri said, eating another bite of curry. But I cannot stop. That is the magic of Earth food. Priya stirred a pot of rice. We learned to love things that hurt us. The festival was held in the Grand Hall, the largest space on Station Helix 7. Thousands of beings gathered to celebrate the unity of species. Each culture had a station to display their traditions. Music played from 100 worlds. Colors and lights filled every corner. Priya's station was small, tucked between a Finari music display and a Kelpin art exhibition. She had set up a cooking area with pots and pans from Earth. The smells drew curious visitors before she even started serving. What is this? Asked a tall being with blue skin. Biryani, Priya said. Rice cooked with spices and vegetables. From my home city of Mumbai. It smells aggressive. Priya smiled. It smells like love. She served small portions to brave visitors. Most found it too intense. A few came back for more. An elderly Finari told her it reminded him of something his grandmother used to make. For 2 hours, everything was perfect. Then Calris arrived. He walked through the festival like he owned it, his 4 arms gesturing grandly as his followers laughed at his jokes. He stopped at station after station, making comments, touching things, leaving chaos behind him. When he reached Priya's station, he stopped. The Deathworlder cooks, he announced loudly. Nearby conversation stopped. People turned to watch. How charming. Primitive food from a primitive world. Priya continued serving a customer. Would you like to try some? Try it. Calris laughed. I would rather eat garbage. Then please move along. You are blocking my station. The silence spread. No one talked to Calris that way. No one. His mirror eyes narrowed. Without warning, he swept his lower arms across her cooking station. Pots crashed to the floor. Rice scattered everywhere. 3 hours of work destroyed in seconds. Oops, Calris said. How clumsy of me. His followers laughed. The crowd watched in silence. No one moved to help. Priya stood very still. Her hands were at her sides. Her face showed nothing. Slowly, she knelt and began picking up the scattered rice. Look at her, Calris said to the crowd. The mighty Deathworlder, cleaning the floor like a servant. This is what humans are. Weak, soft, good for nothing, but you should stop talking now. Priya's voice was quiet. but somehow it carried through the entire hall. Calris stared at her. What did you say? I said you should stop talking. Priya stood. Her eyes met his. Well, you still can. The crowd shifted. Something had changed in the small human girl. Something had woken up behind her dark eyes. Calris stepped closer. He was twice her height, 4 times her mass. His claws were sharp enough to cut steel. You dare threaten me? His voice rose. You are nothing. A bug from a death world. Your entire species is a mistake. My species, Priya said calmly, survived things that would make you cry for your mother. The insult struck like a slap. Calris's face twisted with rage. He grabbed her arm. His claws dug in, piercing skin. Blood ran down to her wrist. Apologize, he hissed. No. He squeezed harder. Priya did not cry out. She did not pull away. She just looked at him with those calm, dark eyes. Apologize, he said again, or I will break your arm. You can try. Calris pulled her closer, lifting her slightly off the ground. His other 3 arms came up, claws extended. I'm going to enjoy this, he whispered. I was not talking about my arm. Priya's voice was steady despite the pain. I was giving you a chance to apologize. You should have taken it. Before Calris could respond, Priya moved. IT was not fast by human standards. Any child on Earth could have followed the motion. But to the galactic species watching, it was a blur. She twisted her arm, breaking his grip with pure strength. Her other hand came up, grabbed his wrist, and bent it backward. In the same motion, she stepped behind him and forced his arm up against his spine. Calris screamed. The sound echoed through the silent hall. The most powerful student at the academy was on his knees, held helpless by a girl half his size. I'm going to say this once, Priya said, loud enough for everyone to hear. I am from Earth, a death world. Do you know what that means? Calris whimpered. It means I grew up where the ground shakes and swallows cities, where the sky throws fire and floods, where animals hunt us for food. She pushed his arm slightly higher. He screamed again. It means I am made of stronger stuff than you can imagine. My bones are dense. My muscles are built for survival. My reflexes evolved to escape predators far more dangerous than a spoiled child with scales. The crowd was frozen. Miri stood near the back, tears streaming down her face. I gave you weeks of chances, Priya continued. I let you push me, let you hurt me. I thought maybe you would get bored. I thought maybe you would find some humanity in yourself. She shook her head. I was wrong. She released him and stepped back. Calris collapsed to the floor, cradling his arm. Stay down, Priya said, or we'll find out what else Death Worlders can do. Calris did not stay down. His rage was bigger than his pain. He rose from the floor with a roar, all 4 arms swinging toward Priya in a wild attack. She had expected this. Men like Calris never accepted defeat. Their pride would not allow it. The first blow came at her head. She ducked beneath it easily. The second came at her chest. She stepped sideways and let it pass. The third and fourth came together, claws aimed at her throat. Priya caught both wrists and held them. Calris pushed with all his strength. His muscles strained. His scales rippled with effort. Priya did not move. She stood like stone, holding his arms in place with a grip that should have been impossible for something so small. How? Calris gasped. Earth gravity is 1.4 times galactic standard, Priya said calmly. Every day of my life, I lifted more weight just by standing up than you have ever lifted in training. She released his wrists and pushed him backward. He stumbled but kept his feet. Fight me properly, he screamed. Stop running. I am not running. Priya raised her hands in a simple fighting stance. I'm showing you mercy. I have been showing you mercy this entire time. Calris charged. What followed was not a fight. It was education. Every time Calris attacked, Priya was not there. Every time he swung, she moved just enough to avoid him. When he overextended, she redirected his momentum and sent him crashing to the floor point. 3 times he fell. 3 times he rose. 3 times she put him down again without throwing a single punch. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Guards pushed through, but they stopped when they saw what was happening. The Sylvan boy was being humiliated by a human girl, and she was not even trying to hurt him. On the 4th fall, Calris did not get up immediately. He lay on his back, breathing hard, staring at the ceiling. Yield, Priya said. Never. Then stay down. This is over. It is not over until I say, it is over. A new voice cut through the hall. Everyone turned. Standing at the entrance was a being that no one had seen in person before. The Arbiter, director of the academy, had arrived. She was old beyond measure. Her species had no name that other beings could pronounce. She moved like flowing water, her body shifting between shapes as she approached the scene. Explain, she said. Calris scrambled to his feet. She attacked me. This human savage attacked me without warning. I have recordings from 17 different angles, the Arbiter said calmly. I have watched every second. Would you like me to display them for everyone here? Calris went pale. I thought not. The Arbiter turned to Priya. You, human, come with me. Guards surrounded them both. The crowd parted as they were led away. Miri tried to follow, but was held back. I will be fine, Priya called to her friend. I promise. The security office was cold and white. Priya sat in a chair designed for species much larger than her. Her arm had stopped bleeding, but it hurt badly. She did not complain. The Arbiter sat across from her. Between them, a screen showed the fight from multiple angles. You could have killed him, the Arbiter said. Yes. You chose not to. He is a fool, not a criminal. Priya met the ancient being's eyes. I did not come here to hurt anyone. I came here to learn. And yet you humiliated the son of one of our most powerful diplomats. He humiliated himself. I simply stopped pretending to be weak. The Arbiter was silent for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She laughed. I have waited 30 years for someone to stand up to that family, she said. 30 years of complaints ignored because of political pressure. 30 years of students hurt, careers destroyed, lives ruined. She touched a control. The screen changed to show a list of names. These are the students Lord Calris has driven from this academy, she said. 47 beings who left rather than face his cruelty. And these are just the ones who reported it. Priya looked at the list. Fenari names. Kelpin names. Species she had never heard of. Why did no one stop him, she asked. Because his father controls our funding. Because wealthy families protect their own. Because everyone was afraid. The Arbiter leaned forward. But you're not afraid, are you? I'm always afraid. Priya touched the bandage on her arm. Fear keeps you alive on Earth. But we learn to act despite the fear. The door opened. Goss entered, followed by Miri and a dozen other students. They want to testify, Goss said, about everything. The harassment, the cover-ups, all of it. The Arbiter looked at the group. Her form shifted, colors rippling across her body. Very well, she said. Take their statements. All of them. She turned back to Priya. Lord Calris's father will arrive tomorrow. He will demand your expulsion. He will threaten to destroy this academy. And what will you do? The Arbiter smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. I will show him what happens when you mistake patience for weakness. She stood. Go to medical. Get that arm treated. Tomorrow will be a long day. Priya nodded and left. In the corridor, Miri grabbed her and held on tight. You terrified me, the Fenari whispered. I am sorry. Do not apologize. Miri looked up at her friend. You were magnificent. Priya held her gently, careful of her fragile bones. Outside the window, the stars burned cold and bright. Tomorrow, the consequences would come. But tonight, for the first time since arriving at the academy, Priya felt like she belonged. Lord Veshin arrived like a storm. His ship was the largest private vessel Priya had ever seen. It docked at the academy's priority bay, pushing aside scheduled transports without apology. He walked through the corridors with 20 guards behind him, his 4 arms folded in barely controlled rage. He was taller than his son, older. His scales were darker, and his mirror eyes reflected nothing but cold calculation. The Arbiter met him in the council chamber. Priya was there too, seated at a small table with her bandaged arm visible. Goss stood behind her like a silent guardian. I demand the immediate expulsion of this human, Veshin said before he even sat down. She attacked my son. She humiliated our family. She must face consequences. Your son attacked first, the Arbiter said calmly. We have recordings. Recordings can be manipulated. Not ours. The Arbiter touched a control, and the council chamber filled with holographic displays. Every angle of the festival, every moment of the fight, Calris grabbing Priya's arm, Calris drawing blood, Calris attacking repeatedly while Priya only defended. This proves nothing, Veshin said. Then perhaps this will. The Arbiter changed the display. These are 3 years of incident reports involving your son. Harassment, assault, destruction of property. 47 students transferred or quit because of him. Lies. All lies. I have witnesses. The Arbiter gestured and the doors opened. Students filed in. Finari. Kelpin. Species that Priya did not recognize. 23 beings who had been afraid to speak before, but were ready now point one by one. They told their stories. A Finari boy described how Calris had broken his arm for looking at him the wrong way. A Kelpin girl explained how Calris had destroyed her research project because she refused to do his homework. A tall being with gray skin showed scars from chemicals that Calris had poured on him. With each story, Veshin's face grew darker. But he did not look ashamed. He looked angry. Enough, he finally said. I do not care about these complaints. My son is Sylvan nobility. These creatures are nothing. These creatures, the Arbiter said, are galactic citizens with protected rights. Rights that I can remove. Veshin stood. I control 30% of this academy's funding. I have connections to the Galactic Council that you cannot imagine. If my son is punished, I will destroy this place. The room went silent. Everyone knew he could do it. Then Priya spoke. May I say something? Veshin looked at her like she was an insect. The Deathworlder speaks. How amusing. Your son attacked a human, Priya said calmly. A representative of a Deathworld species. Do you know what that means politically? It means nothing. It means everything. Priya stood. Humanity has been in the galactic community for 5 years. We are new. We are unknown. And we are very, very dangerous. She walked toward Veshin. His guards moved to stop her, but the Arbiter raised a hand. My government knows what happened here. Priya continued. The Earth Embassy has already filed a formal protest. They're watching this meeting right now. Veshin's confidence flickered. If you destroy this academy, Priya said, if you punish me for defending myself, Earth will remember. And we have very long memories. You threaten me, I inform you. Priya stopped directly in front of him. She was tiny compared to his massive form, but she did not look away. Humans come from a world that tried to kill us every day. We survived. We adapted. We became the dominant species on a planet where everything was hostile. She let that sink in. We are not afraid of you, Lord Veshin. And if you make enemies of us, you will discover what a Deathworld species does to threats. Veshin stared at her. For the first time, something like doubt crossed his face. The Arbiter spoke into the silence. Lord Calris is expelled, effective immediately. His record will reflect the true reasons. Your diplomatic credentials, Lord Veshin, will be reviewed by the Council based on the evidence presented today. You cannot do this. I already have. The Arbiter rose. Guards, please escort our guests to their ship. Veshin tried to argue. He threatened. He raged. But the guards were unmoved, and eventually, he had no choice but to leave. Calris was waiting in the docking bay. When he saw his father, he ran toward him. What happened? What did they decide? Veshin said nothing. He simply walked past his son toward the ship. Father? Father. The doors closed behind them. Priya watched the ship depart from a window in the council chamber. Miri stood beside her. You were incredible, Miri said. Were you really not afraid? I was terrified. You did not show it. That is the human way. Priya touched the window. We learn to hide our fear, to act despite it. On Earth, showing weakness gets you killed. Your world sounds horrible. It made us strong. Priya turned to her friend. Strong enough to stand in front of beings like Veshin and tell them no. Goss approached them with a small package in his tentacles. This arrived for you, he said. From Earth. Priya opened it. Inside were spices from her mother's kitchen, fresh and fragrant. A note was attached. I saw the news. Her mother had written, I'm proud of you. Come home when you are ready. I will make your favorite food. Priya held the spices close and smiled. Everything all right? Miri asked. Everything is perfect. Priya looked out at the stars. I think I finally understand why I am here. Why? To show the galaxy that humans are not weak. We're just patient. She put the spices in her pocket. And our patience has run out. Spring came to Station Helix, 7 through artificial lights and carefully controlled temperatures. But Priya felt at anyway 3 months had passed since the festival. 3 months since Calris was expelled. 3 months since everything changed. The academy was different now. New rules protected students from harassment. Regular safety meetings gave everyone a voice. A memorial garden had been planted in the central courtyard, honoring those who had suffered under the old system. Priya walked through the garden every morning. She knew the names of every plant, every flower, every tribute. She had helped choose them. You are thinking too much again. Miri appeared beside her, carrying 2 cups of something warm. She handed one to Priya. What is this? I try to make chai. Miri's ears flattened nervously. It is probably terrible. Priya tasted it. It was too sweet, too weak, and completely wrong. It is perfect, she said. They sat together on a bench, watching students pass by. The academy had changed in subtle ways. Species that used to avoid each other now ate together. Students who had been invisible now walked with their heads high, and they all knew Priya's name. The Peacekeeper offer, Miri said. Have you decided? Priya nodded. The Galactic Peacekeepers had invited her to join their organization. Her calm response during the festival, her controlled use of force, her refusal to cause permanent harm, had impressed them deeply. I declined, Priya said. For now. Why? Because I promised to finish my studies here. Because you need help with your engineering project. Because Goss is teaching me to play that strange card game of his. Priya smiled. I have responsibilities. You could do so much more out there. I will. Someday. Priya looked at her friend. But right now, I want to be here. With you. With our family. Family. The word made Miri's eyes shine. That afternoon, Priya received a message that new transport was arriving. A human transport. She went to the docking bay alone. The ship was small and old, a budget transport from the outer colonies. When the doors opened, a young man stepped out. He was maybe 17, with dark skin and wide, frightened eyes. You are the human, he said in accented English. Priya Sharma. I am. And you are? Dev Garoon. From Nepal. He clutched a worn bag to his chest. They said I should find you when I arrived. Priya remembered her own arrival. The fear, the loneliness, the certainty that she did not belong. Come with me, she said. I will show you around. She took him to the dining hall first. The room was busy with students eating and talking. Priya led Dev to her usual table, where Miri was already waiting with Goss. Another human. Miri bounced with excitement. Welcome, welcome. Sit here. Goss nodded wisely. The young ones keep coming. Soon you Deathworlders will outnumber us. Dev looked overwhelmed. I do not understand. Everyone warned me about this place. They said aliens hated humans. They said I would be alone. Things have changed, Priya said. Sit. Eat. You are safe here. She went to the food station she had rebuilt after the festival. It was a permanent fixture now, serving dishes from Earth. She prepared a plate for Dev, simple food that would taste like home. When she returned, Dev was listening to Miri describe Finari music with wild gestures. Goss was showing him card tricks with his tentacles. The boy was still nervous, but he was smiling. Is it true? Dev asked when Priya sat down. What they say about you? What do they say? That you fought a Sylvan noble and won. That you scared his father so badly he left the station. That you are. He searched for the word, untouchable. Priya laughed. It was a warm sound full of life. I'm not untouchable. I'm just a girl from Mumbai who refused to be bullied. She pushed the plate toward him. Eat. You have had a long journey. Dev ate. Tears ran down his face, but he did not stop. It tastes like my grandmother's cooking, he whispered. Good. Priya watched him with gentle eyes. That was the goal. Later, as the station's artificial lights dimmed to simulate evening, Priya walked Dev to his new quarters. They stopped at a window overlooking the stars. Will it get easier? Dev asked. Yes. How do you know? Priya thought about her answer. She thought about the earthquake that had buried her at 12. about the floods that had destroyed her neighborhood, about the academy that had tried to break her. Because humans adapt, she said finally. It is what we do. We face impossible situations and find ways to survive. Then we find ways to live. Then we find ways to be happy. She put a hand on his shoulder. You're not alone, Dev. You have me. You have Miri and Goss. You have an entire academy full of beings who are learning that humans are worth knowing. And if someone tries to hurt me, Priya smiled. There was steel in that smile, forged by a world that killed the weak and rewarded the strong. Then they will learn what I learned, she said. That kindness is not weakness. That patience is not fear. And that Deathworlders protect their own. Dev nodded slowly. For the first time since arriving, he looked hopeful. Outside the window, stars burned in the endless dark. Somewhere among them, Earth turned beneath its sun, a world of storms and earthquakes and beautiful, impossible survivors. Priya looked at those stars and made a silent promise. She would build bridges between worlds. She would protect those who could not protect themselves. She would show the galaxy that humanity was not a threat to fear, but a friend to welcome. And she would start here. One student at a time. Come on, she said to Dev. Let me introduce you to the rest of the family. Together, they walked into the light.